Hey, welcome back. I'm Nyx, your intuitive coach and energy alignment mentor, and this is your weekly energy update where we track what's moving through the collective field so you can move with it instead of against it. Now, this week is one of the most cosmically packed weeks of the entire year. The contrast of what's happening in the sky this week is going to be felt in the body, whether you're tracking planets or not. Okay. Now on June 28th, we open up the week with Mars entering Gemini. That's quick energy, communicative energy, the urge to talk, move fast, multitask, and connect. But hold that thought, because the very next day, June 29th arrives with a full cosmic halt. Now on the 29th, we have three significant things happening simultaneously. Mercury goes retrograde in Cancer, and it stays there until about July 23rd. More on that in a moment. We have a full moon that peaks in Capricorn, and Mars squares the lunar nodes, a karmic tension point between where you've been and where you're going. So that's three major astrological events on one day. So basically, June 29th needs to be navigated with eyes wide open and with a slow and intentional hand. Now, Mercury retrograde gets a bad reputation, but here's the truth. It's not really here to ruin your life. It's here to slow you down enough to notice what you've been rushing past, right? All the the re-energy comes in. Revisit, review, rewrite, reflect, redirect, recalibrate, and so on and so on. But with Mercury in Cancer specifically, this retrograde is emotional. It's introspective. Old stories, old feelings, old relational patterns are going to surface, not to drag you back, but to show you how far you've come, okay? And then on the 30th, everything shifts. Jupiter enters Leo for the first time in 12 years, and it arrives like a spotlight finding its subject. After a year of quiet, inward, nurturing Cancer energy, Jupiter steps into the most expressive, bold, heart-centered sign in the zodiac. Confidence, creativity, recognition following bravery, and joy. Joy becoming the compass again. Venus is already in Leo waiting for Jupiter, two of the most benefic planets in the most luminous sign. After everything this week asks you to move through, that's the light kind of breaking through at the end of it, okay? A heavy start, a luminous close. That's the week. All right, let's get into it. Now, as always, before we begin, we move through 4 cards. The first one highlights the energy of the week. The second one tells us what's being asked of us. The third one speaks to the energy center calling for attention. And the fourth card shows us how to hold and integrate it all together. Now, with that said, let's get started. Okay, so first card up for the energy of the week is Traffic Cone. This is about caution. And this is number 32 on the card. Right, now, given that Mercury goes retrograde on the 29th, I'm not really surprised that this card came through for the collective energy. This is not a warning. It doesn't feel ominous. It feels like a firm, loving hand on your shoulder saying, slow down, eyes wide open, think before you act, okay? Now, running behind the energy of this card, I also feel endings. Just like last week, endings are still present in the field this week. And I want to keep reminding you that endings are good. This is out with the old, making way for what's new. Some of you are going to actually feel it, see it, and touch it this week. A chapter closing once and for all. And that is a good thing even when it doesn't feel that way in the moment, okay? Now, also behind this caution energy and this endings energy, there's love, compassion, grace, and it could be one of two ways. It could be about extending that compassion to yourself and to as things close out and as you navigate this week with care, or it could be about closing something out with love, a project, a connection, a version of yourself that you're finally ready to release, and doing so with understanding rather than bitterness. Now, back to this traffic cone here. Be intentional this week. Think before you say yes. Think before you say no. Think before you send the message. Have the difficult conversation with understood intention. Make that decision. Do not be the person that is reactive this week. Mercury retrograde and Mars squaring the lunar nodes on the 29th means communication is particularly charged. So what you say and how you say it matters more than usual, okay? What you agree to, what you commit to, double check it. Feel it in your body before you answer, okay? And also, delays are coming. Some congestion is on the path, okay? Minor inconveniences are coming, and none of it's personal. None of it is punishment or a sign that you're off track or you're going the wrong way. It's that compass energy redirecting you with more precision. So take the detours in stride. You're still going to get to your destination, just perhaps by a slightly different route, okay? All right, now next up. So what's being asked of us is Blue Moon number 9. You see that? I think you're good now. Now, Blue Moon energy amplifies, okay? It opens your eyes a little wider. It brings in sharper focus to the details of your vision, the depth of your desires, the layers of abundance that are available to you, some of which you've been walking past without even noticing. I find it kind of interesting and even confirming that this card arrives the same week as Jupiter entering Leo, because what the blue moon is asking you to do energetically is exactly what Jupiter in Leo is about to offer cosmically. See more, feel more, allow yourself to exist in a state of awe and wonder again, because abundance isn't just financial, it isn't just material, it is the full colorful spectrum of your life, the experiences, the connections, the resources you already have, the tools you've already developed, and the distance you've already traveled. Those are blessings. Can you see them as such? Now, I know some of you are still in the fog. Trust me, I get it. I be in the fog too, okay? Still in the uncertainty, still in the muck of everything you've been moving through. And I'm not asking you to bypass that. What I'm asking, actually, what the card is asking is that even with the fog, you allow a clearing in your mind to connect to your heart. Just a small opening, enough to recognize what you have, enough to soften the grip of scarcity even slightly, okay? Lean on your divine team this week, lean on nature, lean on your circle of care, because resistance is rising in the field again. For some of you, it is lightened, but it never truly left. For some, it's been rising for a while, and for others, you're feeling it kind of like creep back in after a brief reprieve. That is normal. Life ebbs and flows, desires ebb and flows, emotions ebb and flow. The resistance is not evidence that you are screwing up. It's a part of the compass. Let it inform you rather than stop you, okay? You are worthy of abundance, whatever that may look like to you. That is not a question. That is a declaration. So say it until it settles into your body, okay? Wonderful. Now the energy center, asking for attention this week. That'd be the sacral chakra, calling for attention, and the card is Impasse. Now I've pulled this card before, and when I did, if I remember correctly, the energy at the time was very heavy. The collective was sitting deep in that in-between, not sure which direction to move energy. And here it is again, but this time it's arriving with a different quality, a lighter hand. It's coming almost like a gentle reminder that what's done is done. Not as a heavy statement, but more as like a liberating one. What's done is done. You don't have to keep carrying it. You don't have to keep going back to it. Let it be finished, okay? Now, a lot of what's coming to close this week, the heaviness, the emotional weight, the fragility you've been feeling, for a lot of you, that chapter is genuinely ending. The impasse you felt then, the feeling of being stuck at a crossroads, not knowing which way to turn. Some of you are on the other side of that now, but you don't fully realize it yet because the fog is still clearing, okay? Now, here's what the sacral chakra is asking this week. Tap into your essence, not your fear, not your doubt, not the stories running on loop, your actual essence, your passions, your desires, the things that ignite you. Because when you connect to that, and even briefly, even imperfectly, you create an opening, you create movement in the energy field. And that presence, that connection to self is what allows you to navigate the changes that are happening around you, okay? Now, the sacral chakra lives in the lower abdomen. It's the creative center, your center of desire and pleasure and flow. And with the full moon in Capricorn landing alongside Mercury retrograde, emotions are high and the urge to white knuckle through it is strong. But the sacral says don't grip, flow, feel your way through. And if you hit an impasse this week, and honestly, you might, don't stand frozen, okay? Look around. There's another way. There always is. You are more capable than you give yourself credit for, and you are protected even when you can't feel it, especially when you can't feel it. Okay, that impasse. Now how we hold it all together. We surrender. Okay. Now before I say anything else, let me say what surrender is not. It's not giving up. It's not weakness. It is not lying down and letting kind of life run over you. Okay, surrender is the moment you stop fighting what is outside of your control and redirect that energy toward what actually is within it. Okay, using one of my favorite analogies is that Chinese finger trap. You put your finger in on either side of it, right? And then you pull. And when you pull, the more you pull, the tighter it gets. The harder you fight it, the more it constricts. But the moment you stop, the moment you relax, the moment you breathe, the trap loosens. And with ease, with what feels like almost no effort at all, you can finally free yourself. That is surrender. That is what's being asked to integrate this week. This week has Mercury retrograde, the full moon in Capricorn, Mars squaring the lunar nodes, caution energy, endings energy, impasse energy, and underneath all of it, running quietly in support are two other energies I kind of feel moving behind this card here: recluse energy and mindfulness energy. And they belong here because this week in particular, June 29th, is not the week to be out in the noise. It's the week to go inward, to be present, to communicate with yourself before communicating with the outside world. Okay, now mindfulness this week essentially means to stop running on autopilot, slow down enough to notice what's actually happening in your body, your energy, your relationships. Don't numb out, don't scroll through it, show up for yourself right here, right now. And then recluse energy is coming in, kind of like pull back from the noise when you need to. Protect your energy during this retrograde season, not forever, but just enough so you can hear yourself think, to get clear, to stop absorbing everyone else's chaos on top of your own. And then surrender. Exhale deeply. Let your energy expand rather than constrict, right? Trust that the process is working even when you can't see the outcome. Trust that you are being held even when it doesn't feel that way, because on the 30th, Jupiter enters Leo, like I said. So joy becomes a compass again. The spotlight is finding its subject, and that subject is you. So wave the white flag, not in defeat, but in trust. Okay? Now that is your energy for the week of June 28th to July 4th. Remember, June 29th specifically, move slowly, communicate with care, double check everything. I repeat, double check everything. And on the 30th, feel that shift when Jupiter steps into Leo. Let yourself feel it. After everything this week asks of you, you deserve that exhale. Okay? Now, please drop into the comments, if you will. What are you finally ready to surrender? Not give up on, but stop white-knuckling. I absolutely would love to know. So to my new viewers, welcome. Shout out to my returnees. Thank you so much. If you haven't already, please like, comment, share, and hit subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next, because Jupiter in Leo for the next year means things are about to get bold, bright, and worth paying attention to. And if someone in your life is in the thick of it right now and needs a reminder that surrender is not a weakness, send this to them. That might be exactly what they need to hear today, all right? So until next week, take care of your beautiful energy, and I will see you then.